It's now time for the 1017 The Team High School Basketball Halftime Show with Austin Denton. Take it away, Austin.
An intense first half to kick off the year here from Rio Grande High School. It's the semifinals of the APS Metro Tournament, and right now the Atrisco Heritage Jaguars, the 4 seed, coming into this tournament, leads the number 1 seed Cleveland Storm 41-34. Thanks for tuning in to the Newsender Credit Union Halftime Show. Now you can pay with Lobo Pride. Stop by any Newsender Credit Union branch to get your new UNM Lobos credit and debit cards. Getting your card is simple and free. Visit newsender.org for details. Federally insured by NCUA, equal opportunity. Let's go over the stats for both sides. First, for the visitor team in this contest, I should say, the Atrisco Heritage Jaguars. Right now leading the way in scoring is Josiah Ramos and Elijah Gaxiola. They are tied for 10 points each. So far, so good for them, as Ramos has been 1 of 5 from the field goal range, but even still his shooting has been excellent from the free throw line. He is 8 of 9 from the free throw line, and that is where his points have been coming from so far tonight. Elijah Gaxiola with his 10 points. He is 3 of 8 from field goal range and 3 of 5 from 2-point range. You also are taking a look at Isaiah Brooks, who has 7 points, 2 of 3 from field goal range. And then you also have DeMarcus Sutphin, 6 points, 2 of 7 from field goal range. Also pitching in, Dominic Rivas, Marquise Crawford, Dominique Ornelas, and Malachi Crawford. They each have 2 points. In total for Atrisco, they are 12 of 31 from field goal range, 38.7%. They're 3 of 16 from three-point range, 18%. Unusual bad shooting night from three-point range for the Jaguars. But their points have been coming at the free throw line, and that is what has really been excellent for them, as they are 93% from the free throw line, 14 of 15 to be exact. They also have picked up 18 rebounds on the night so far, 14 defensive, 4 offensive. There was 12 personal fouls for them, and they have picked up a total of 7 turnovers on the night. Now to Cleveland, you have the leading scorer being Josh Terry and Jalen Munn. They're tied with 9 points each. Jalen Munn, 3 of 9 from field goal range and 3 of 5 from 2-point range. You have Terry, who is 3 of 9 from field goal range as well, and 2 of 6 from 2-point range. Trey Watson right behind them with 8 points, 2 of 4 from field goal range, 2 of 3 from 2-point range. And then you also have Nakai Smith pitching in with 4, and Aiden Moreno, Amir Muhammad pitching in with 3 points there. I finally got it right. And then Aiden Moreno pitching in with 1 point as well. Overall for the Storm, they are 10 of 29, 34.5% from total field goal range. You also have them shooting 2 of 11 from 3-point range, only 18% on the night. And again, their points coming on the free throws, 12 of 17, so that's about 71% from the free throw line. Rebound-wise, they have 17 rebounds on the night, 11 defensive, 5 offensive, and 1 dead ball rebound. They also have 12 personal fouls on the night and 10 turnovers. And they also have 4 steals on the night, so that has been a big defensive stat for them. Now we bring in Brian O'Neill for our first half analysis. And Brian, you take a look at just kind of the momentum of the game so far. It seemed like everything was going Atrisco's way. Cleveland has started to sneak themselves back into it, but right now Atrisco holding strong.
I think momentum's a key word, and I think for a quarter and a half of this first half of basketball, it was Atrisco. They went through that spurt there about the last 5 minutes of the second quarter where they started turning the ball over, and you would let me know about that as the game was going on. But then I think they started shooting too many threes. And when they start shooting threes like that, I think they kind of got away from what they were doing right early on that game, and that was driving the ball to the basket, getting layups, and creating fouls.
Exactly it. And now you talked about in your keys to the game, Atrisco controlling to the tempo. Safe to say they controlled the tempo early, but would you say that the tempo has now shifted Cleveland's way?
Well, and I think Atrisco had a lot to do with that by poor shot selection, but yes, it has. And I think that Sean Jimenez going into halftime only being down 7 with arguably his best player on the bench the majority of that first half, he's got to feel pretty good about things. The one thing I don't like that Cleveland's doing is I think they're shooting way too many threes. I think you said they were 2 of 11 from behind the arc.
Yes, exactly that.
And that's not their game. Their game is to get in the paint and get to the glass, be it off turnovers or off of the dribble drive And they did that, just a little bit there in the first half, and they need to get a little bit more of that in the second half.
And it seems like that it's been working both ways with both teams getting to the glass. But like you were talking about with Amir Muhammad having 3 fouls on the night, Josh Terry also has 3 as well. And then you also have Nakai Smith, who has picked up 2 as well. So that's 3 of the key players for Cleveland, all in foul trouble. And is that going to start becoming an issue for them?
Well, I think it really will, here in the third quarter if 2 of those guys pick up a fourth. But yeah, you're talking about those are 3 starters. But at the same time, they played with without 2 of those guys for the majority of that first half, only find themselves down 7. I would have to say that Adrian Ortega is kind of kicking himself a little bit when he's talking to his team that they kind of got away from things. But now we have a ball game where early on it didn't appear we would.
Exactly. Well, thanks as always, Brian, for your first half analysis. We'll have you back at the halftime of our second semifinal. Well, that'll do it for the halftime show of our first semifinal. Don't go anywhere. Scott Galletti and Brian O'Neill will bring you second half coverage in just a few moments. I'll see you all at halftime of our second semifinal. You're listening to the Game of the Week, ESPN Radio 101.7, The Team.
You've been listening to the 101.7 The Team High School Basketball Halftime Show with Austin Denton. The second half is up next, right here on ESPN Radio 101.7 The Team.